My sister orchestrated a fake psychiatric diagnosis to secure her engagement to a wealthy family, and now my own parents have erased me. Ever wondered how someone close to you could turn your life upside down for their own gain? What if the person you trusted most could twist reality so much that even you started questioning your own sanity? I know this sounds insane, but I need to get this off my chest. My sister manipulated my life to get me out of the picture. Not because I was sick, but because she needed to secure her spot with a rich, powerful family. Before all this, I was just a regular person. I had a job, went to school, and lived my life. Then, out of nowhere, everything started to fall apart. I lost my jobs for reasons that made no sense. I started seeing doctors, people telling me I had schizophrenia, even though I'd never had any kind of mental health issue before. It didn't stop there. My sister pushed me into seeing more psychiatrists, all of them agreeing on this diagnosis. At first, I tried to fight it. But once the label was on me, it was like I couldn't escape. Every time I tried to explain, they used it against me, saying I was too out of touch to even understand my own condition. I lost everything: my job, my friends, my reputation. All of it, just so my sister could secure her place in this ultra-wealthy family. Now she's engaged to someone from that family, and I've been thrown away like I never mattered. I'm writing this because I'm done hiding. I don't care if they try to silence me anymore. The truth needs to be heard. I'm done letting them erase me. For those wondering why she'd do this, I'll tell you. Powerful families don't just accept anyone. They test you. My sister had to prove her loyalty, and I was the easiest target. It wasn't about getting rid of me, it was about showing them she could clear the way without anyone noticing. I know it sounds paranoid, but that's exactly the point. Psychiatric labels are used to discredit people, to make them seem like they're not reliable. That's what worked so well. No one would ever believe me. And I'm done being quiet. This is my truth. Update 1. The past 2 weeks have been some of the hardest of my life. I've been trying to piece everything together, but it feels like I'm walking through a fog, constantly looking for clarity in a situation that makes no sense. A few days ago, I finally sat down and looked at everything. Everything that happened, and what's still going on. It feels unreal to even type it out, but I have to. After everything happened, I ended up staying with my best friend Mike and his family. They were the only ones who didn't turn their back on me. Mike's mom set me up with a job at the warehouse where Mike works. It's not glamorous, but it pays. I'm working there every day, coming home exhausted, but at least I have some money to keep going. The best part of my day is when I can sneak in some online classes, even if it's just a few hours late at night when I'm too tired to think straight. But it's all I can do right now. I've been trying to keep my head above water. That's all I can do right now. But something's changed in me. The shock has worn off, and I've stopped trying to make sense of it. I know what happened. I know who did it. And I know who I can't trust anymore. My sister orchestrated a fake psychiatric diagnosis to secure her engagement to a wealthy family, and now my own parents have erased me. Ever wondered how someone close to you could turn your life upside down for their own gain? What if the person you trusted most could twist reality so much that even you started questioning your own sanity? I know this sounds insane, but I need to get this off my chest. My sister manipulated my life to get me out of the picture. Not because I was sick, but because she needed to secure her spot with a rich, powerful family. Before all this, I was just a regular person. I had a job, went to school, and lived my life. Then, out of nowhere, everything started to fall apart. I lost my jobs for reasons that made no sense. I started seeing doctors, people telling me I had schizophrenia, even though I'd never had any kind of mental health issue before. It didn't stop there. My sister pushed me into seeing more psychiatrists, all of them agreeing on this diagnosis. At first, I tried to fight it. But once the label was on me, it was like I couldn't escape. Every time I tried to explain, they used it against me, saying I was too out of touch to even understand my own condition. I lost everything: my job, my friends, my reputation. All of it, just so my sister could secure her place in this ultra-wealthy family. Now she's engaged to someone from that family, and I've been thrown away like I never mattered. I'm writing this because I'm done hiding. I don't care if they try to silence me anymore. The truth needs to be heard. I'm done letting them erase me. For those wondering why she'd do this, I'll tell you. Powerful families don't just accept anyone. They test you. My sister had to prove her loyalty, and I was the easiest target. It wasn't about getting rid of me, it was about showing them she could clear the way without anyone noticing. I know it sounds paranoid, but that's exactly the point. Psychiatric labels are used to discredit people, to make them seem like they're not reliable. That's what worked so well. No one would ever believe me. And I'm done being quiet. This is my truth. Update 1. The past 2 weeks have been some of the hardest of my life. I've been trying to piece everything together, but it feels like I'm walking through a fog, constantly looking for clarity in a situation that makes no sense. A few days ago, I finally sat down and looked at everything. Everything that happened, and what's still going on. It feels unreal to even type it out, but I have to. After everything happened, I ended up staying with my best friend Mike and his family. They were the only ones who didn't turn their back on me. Mike's mom set me up with a job at the warehouse where Mike works. It's not glamorous, but it pays. I'm working there every day, coming home exhausted, but at least I have some money to keep going. The best part of my day is when I can sneak in some online classes, even if it's just a few hours late at night when I'm too tired to think straight. But it's all I can do right now. I've been trying to keep my head above water. That's all I can do right now. But something's changed in me. The shock has worn off, and I've stopped trying to make sense of it. I know what happened. I know who did it. And I know who I can't trust anymore. After Christmas, things went downhill fast. The calls, the texts, the lies. It all just kept building. My parents, they turned into people I didn't even recognize. I don't even know who they are anymore. Every time I tried to reach out to them, every time I tried to talk to them, I was just ignored or blocked. I found out from Marissa that they were telling everyone I was trouble, that I was dangerous, that I'd always been a problem. They didn't care to even ask me what happened. They just listened to Karen's lies and used them to justify throwing me out. I spent Christmas night in a cold motel room with no code and barely any money. But the worst part? I spent hours on the phone, calling relatives, trying to get someone to listen. They all blocked me. All I wanted was to talk to someone, anyone, to make them understand that it wasn't me. But no one believed me. It felt like I was screaming into a void, and nothing was coming back. The next day, I got a call from Marissa. She was crying, asking me why I hadn't come home. She said Dad was saying horrible things about me, that I was dangerous and needed help. I couldn't believe it. My own family, my own blood, treating me like I was some kind of criminal. She tried to stand up for me, but they wouldn't listen. She said Mom told her to go to her room when she tried to say something. It didn't make any sense. But it didn't matter. My parents weren't going to listen. They were already too far gone. Karen had them all wrapped around her finger. I tried to get Marissa to understand, to make her see that I wasn't crazy, that this was all a lie. But I couldn't do it. Every time I called, it was like my words just fell on deaf ears. I had nothing left. My family wasn't even my family anymore. I don't know what's worse, being lied about or being completely erased. That's what they did to me. They erased me. Like I never existed. Like everything I had done, everything I had been, meant nothing. It was like they turned a switch and suddenly I was just some stranger. But it wasn't just my parents. Karen was busy, too. She'd been telling everyone that I was a problem, that I had issues no one knew about. She told everyone I was dangerous. That I had attacked her, that I was a threat. She sent my cousins messages saying they shouldn't trust me, that I was a liar, a manipulator. It felt like I was being buried alive. I kept telling myself it wasn't true. It couldn't be true. But with every call, with every new text, it felt like the walls were closing in on me. I couldn't keep up with it anymore. I was losing everything, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Then, out of nowhere, I got a message from James. It had been years since I had heard from him. He was one of my older cousins, someone I used to look up to. But I hadn't seen him since he moved to California when I was about 14. I didn't know why he left or what happened, but he'd always been distant after that. Now, he was reaching out. He saw my post and wanted to talk. James told me his story. It was like looking into a mirror. The things Karen had done to me, she had done to him 5 years ago. At a family reunion, Karen had accused him of trying to assault her. Just like me, no one believed him. Everyone turned on him, called him a liar, and pushed him out of the family. His parents kicked him out just like mine did. He left for California with nothing but his car and the clothes on his back. He didn't even get a chance to fight back. It was like the world was falling apart around me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But as James kept talking, it all started to make sense. Karen was doing the same thing to me that she had done to him. She was playing everyone, using her lies to destroy anyone who got in her way. And I had been next on her list. James told me that Karen had always been like that. He said she used people for her own gain. If you were in her way, she'd do whatever it took to get rid of you. It wasn't just me. She had been doing this for years, and it wasn't going to stop with me. He said she had been secretly planning to take me down, just like she did to him. It was sickening. I couldn't believe it. I had been part of this family for my entire life, and now I was being thrown away like I didn't matter. I wasn't just losing my family. I was losing my whole life. Everything I had worked for, everything I thought I was building, was gone. But now, I had a choice to make. I couldn't keep fighting for people who didn't believe in me. I couldn't keep trying to explain myself to people who had already decided I was guilty. It wasn't worth it. So, I started focusing on survival. I needed to get back on my feet, one step at a time. I couldn't afford to waste time on people who wouldn't listen. I found a small studio apartment in a sketchy part of town. The place is run down, and it smells terrible, but it's mine. It's all I could afford with the money I had left. It's not much, but it's a start. It's a place where I can rebuild, away from the lies, away from the people who tried to destroy me. I still talk to Marissa. She's the only one who hasn't turned on me. She's been sneaking around to talk to me, using her friends' phones to send messages. She's been telling me how everything has changed at home. Mom and Dad have completely rewritten their memories of me. They're saying I was always a difficult child, that I was a problem from the start. They've erased me from their history, like I never existed. It hurts. It hurts more than I thought it would. But I'm done fighting for people who don't see me. I'm done trying to convince people who have already made up their minds. I have to keep moving forward. It's the only choice I have. The hardest part is knowing that even if the truth comes out, it won't matter. The damage has been done. I can't get my family back. And that's the hardest pill to swallow. But I have to keep moving. I can't let them break me. I have to rebuild. I will rebuild. James is right. It gets easier with time. You start to realize that some people are just too toxic to be in your life. I'm going to keep working, keep studying, and keep pushing forward. The truth will come out. But I have to keep living, no matter what. Update 2. I don't even know where to start. It's been a couple of weeks since I wrote the last update, and things have gotten even more confusing. In some ways, they've gotten worse. But in other ways, I'm starting to feel like I'm finally seeing things clearly for the first time. I've been working nonstop since I got that job at the warehouse. Honestly, it's exhausting, but I don't really have a choice. Between that job and my shifts at the restaurant, I'm putting in about 70 hours a week. My body hurts all the time, but I can't afford to stop. I'm just trying to keep up and keep my head above water. The bills don't stop coming just because everything else in your life falls apart. Mike's parents have been really cool, letting me stay with them. It's not exactly how I pictured my life at 19, but they're kind to me, and I'm grateful for that. They're like a real family to me right now, especially since mine has completely turned on me. There's something strange about getting older and realizing your own family might not have your back when you need them most. I keep trying to remind myself that I'm not alone, but sometimes it's hard. Every time I talk to Marissa, I feel like I'm stepping into a time machine. It's the same thing over and over. Mom and Dad still haven't apologized, still haven't come around. They don't talk to me, and when I try to get in touch with them, I get blocked. They've told her they want to see me, but I don't know what they want from me now. Do they want me to just forgive them, forget what they did? Like it's all going to go away if I let them back in? I'm not sure what's worse. Being ignored completely or having them act like nothing happened, like I should just act like everything is normal again. Marissa is still on my side. She tells me how hard it's been at home, how much things have changed. I guess that's one of the hardest things for me to hear. How our parents are rewriting everything about me. They've told her that I was always the problem, that I've always been difficult. The thing is, I never was. I wasn't perfect, but I wasn't the troublemaker they're making me out to be. Now, it feels like they're trying to erase me from their history. I was just a kid who got good grades and worked hard, but now, I'm apparently this troubled son they were too blind to see. I've been trying to focus on my own life, but the more I think about everything, the more I realize how deep the lies go. It's not just my parents. Everyone in the family has been pulled into this, whether they like it or not. I didn't want to believe it at first, but after talking to James, my cousin, I'm starting to see the bigger picture. James reached out to me after my last post. I can't even explain how much it meant to hear from him. We weren't really close growing up, but he'd always been kind of a big brother figure to me. The stuff he told me. Well, it was hard to hear, but it was also kind of a wake-up call. James told me that Karen had done this to him 5 years ago. Accused him of something that never happened. Same thing, different day. He was a 20-year-old college student, just like me, living his life. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, Karen made up this story about him at a family barbecue. Everyone believed her, and overnight, he was the family outcast. He moved to California after that, and I had no idea what happened. I thought he just disappeared, maybe he was in trouble, but no. He was just trying to get away from a family that had turned their back on him. He didn't even get a chance to explain himself. He was just gone. It felt like I was hearing my own story, but from years ago. The more James talked, the more I started to see the pattern. Karen's been doing this to people for years. If you get too close to the truth, if you're the one who might expose her, she gets rid of you. No questions asked. It's like she has this playbook, and I just became the next chapter. I've tried to talk to my parents about it, but they don't listen. I've called, sent messages, and even had Marissa pass along what I'm going through. But it's like I don't exist anymore. I know they're getting all these stories from Karen, telling them how troubled I am, but they've never once given me a chance to explain. Not even once. Instead, they just believe her, and the more they hear, the further they push me out. It's not just the family. It's the whole community that's turned against me. I haven't even been able to talk to my friends about it, because Karen's already spread rumors about me. She's told people that I'm unstable, that I'm dangerous. All of them have blocked me. I feel like I'm losing my entire life, and I don't know how to fix it. It's like they've already made up their minds, and there's nothing I can do to change it. But then, I think about Marissa. She's still trying to talk to me, still sneaking around to help me. I can't believe how much she's been through all of this with me. She's the only one who believes me. The only one who hasn't turned her back. She's tried to keep in touch with me, even though Mom and Dad have started monitoring her every move. They've installed apps on her phone to track what she's doing, who she's talking to. And it breaks my heart that she has to go through this. She's 16, and she's already losing so much. But she's still trying to fight for me, and I don't know what I'd do without her. I guess the hardest part of all of this is realizing how much Karen has manipulated everyone. She's played the victim so well, and now I'm the one who's been painted as the villain. Everyone's so caught up in her lies that they can't even see the truth. And honestly, that's probably the scariest part. When you're labeled as the bad guy, even when you're not, it feels like there's no way out. People don't believe you, no matter what you say. I'm trying to keep it together, but I'm starting to see that things aren't going to magically fix themselves. I can't just wait for my family to come to their senses. I've spent too long trying to convince them. I've been trying to find a way back, but I'm starting to realize that I might not be able to. Maybe they won't come back. And maybe I have to accept that. Maybe it's time for me to start over completely. I'm still working. I'm still going to school, trying to stay focused, but it's hard when you feel like you've lost everything. I don't know if I'll ever get back to where I was, but I know I have to keep moving forward. One step at a time. Maybe one day, things will change. Maybe I'll get my family back. But for now, I have to do what I can to make it on my own. I keep telling myself it will get easier. James says it does. That time helps. But right now, every day feels like a fight, and I don't know when it's going to end. I don't know if I'll ever get everything back. But I do know this, I won't stop fighting for the truth. Even if it's just me who knows it. Even if no one else ever does. Update 3. I've been sitting with this for a while, trying to find the words. It's hard to know what to say after everything that's happened. There's no easy way to wrap up a story like mine. The truth is, I don't really know where to go from here, but I need to let this out. The past few months have been a roller coaster. There are moments when it feels like things are starting to get better, and then there are days where it feels like nothing has changed at all. I've spent so much time in this weird limbo, trying to figure out what's next, trying to keep my head up while everything around me is falling apart. Work has been keeping me busy, which is both a blessing and a curse. I'm working crazy hours, just trying to make enough money to pay rent and keep things moving. The warehouse job is okay, but it's not the life I planned for myself. It's not where I thought I'd be at 19. But I'm trying not to think too much about it. The restaurant job is harder, late nights, long shifts, but I've got to do what I can. I'm thankful for Mike's family, they've really taken me in. They've given me a place to stay, and that means more than I can say. There's a part of me that just wants to escape from all of this. But then I think about Marissa, and I can't just disappear. She's still the only one who's really on my side, who hasn't turned her back on me. She's been trying to keep in touch with me, sneaking messages when she can. It's messed up, really. She shouldn't have to do that. But she's 16, and she's doing her best, and I can't help but feel a bit proud of her. The worst part, though, is seeing how much my parents have changed. It's like they've been brainwashed, like they can't even see me anymore. Every time I try to reach out, they shut me down. I don't even know who they are anymore. They've rewritten their entire history with me. Now, I'm this troubled son they should have seen coming. I'm not the same person I was to them just a few months ago. It's like I never existed in their eyes. They've taken all the memories and twisted them, making me out to be something I'm not. I thought, maybe, with time, they'd come around. But they haven't. They don't even want to. I get updates from Marissa, telling me how everything's changing at home. They've packed up my room, erased any trace of me. It's like I never lived there at all. It's heartbreaking.